This week's Media Spotlight brings in Desmond, who of course covers UConn football for the Hartford Courant. Des, good to talk to you again, and thanks for joining.
Yep, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
We are at the one and only bye week of the season, really the first time to sit back and assess what has transpired here in 2015. The Huskies sit one win away from a bowl game for the first time since the 2010 season. What are your thoughts on the progress in Bob Diaco's second season thus far?
5-5 after 10. It's pretty good. I would say that probably ranks them ahead of where they're supposed to be record-wise. But if you watch them off the field, you still see some things where they can improve. And even if they, dealt with those things this year, particularly on offense, they'd already be bowl eligible.
Now, defensively, to me, the reemergence in recent weeks of Luke Carazola has been a big boost, along with the play of linebacker Graham Stewart, who, in my opinion, is having his best stretch since putting on a UConn uniform. How big of a factor have those two been for a team that sits 28th in the nation in scoring defense, giving up just 19.3 points per game?
Well, Luke is a really good young player. He's committed himself to being a good player this year. He's really fathered his senior group, and he wants to play well for them. That's his motivation this year. But he's a really talented player. He's got a great body type, and will have a great body type as he continues on here. He's really into that, but he's an impact player already. As a sophomore, and whether he's down or he's at the outside linebacker position, he's been an effective player for them. But I don't think it's been a surprise. I think he was coming along in that area last year before he got cut short, before his season was cut short with injury. And I think as far as Graham is concerned, I agree. This is probably the best he's played, since he put the UConn uniform on, and that could be just, he knows he's at the end here. This is his last chance to get to a bowl game. He's a senior. It's now or never for him to do it, and all the hype that surrounded this kid coming out of high school and leaving Florida and all of that stuff. Now is the time for him to produce, and it looks like he's ready to do that.
Now, Saturday's win against Tulane really didn't showcase too much offense. I know you were down in New Orleans. How big of a factor really was the weather, and were you surprised to see the Huskies play so tight to the vest, even in victory?
Well, I do think the weather was a factor, but they still should have been able to run the ball, and which points to a problem that they've had all year. They've got to be able to do that, and coming up on the two games they have left, they're absolutely going to have to be able to put points on the board, and that means running the ball and throwing it well. Neither of which they did down at Tulane. The weather may have played a part in the passing game, but I think the passing game too now, lately, we've seen some weaknesses in that from the quarterback in terms of accuracy. And we see those accuracy problems when he has to, if he has to throw like 2 or 3 or 4 in a row, that's when we really see him. But he can throw the ball. Ryan can throw the ball well. It's just that he's got to work on the accuracy stuff. I would just say offensively going forward, these problems that they're gonna have to fix these things. They're not gonna have time to play it close to the vest. The offense, they're going to have to open it up these last two games because both Houston and Temple, scored a nice clip here. So they're going to have to be able to match that. Defensively, they're going to be able to figure UConn out a little bit. They're going to have to step up their game on that side. But offensively, UConn is going to have to score points in these last two games to have a chance to win them.
I'm talking with the Hartford Courant's Desmond. Now, Des, I'm glad you brought up offense. Next question is surrounding quarterback. And Brian Sheriffs has really brought some stability to the quarterback position. I think this might be the first time they've only had one starter at quarterback since the Fiesta Bowl year with Zach Frazier. What do you like about his game, and what have you seen about his personality and leadership to help him excel at this position?
Well, I'm starting with his personality. He's got a great personality. The kind of personality that you need and want for the quarterback position. He is confident, not cocky. He's got a belief in himself that, he's the guy that can lead the team to victory. Whatever the team needs, he can get it done. That's the mindset you have to have at that position. Now there's a difference between having that mindset and actually going out and executing those things. He's done a good job of, extending plays in the pocket with his feet. He's pretty nimble back there. He's given these guys a chance when there hasn't been a chance, running the ball. He's escaped, on some big third downs to keep drives going. The thing about that though is that he's fearless and that he will take on the defense. And in the game against Cincinnati, I think he learned that that's not always the best thing to do. That being said, he has to be more consistent in knowing when to run and when to throw. He's got a lot of weapons on the outside that need to be used a little bit more. These guys are open a lot of times. A lot of times they're not, and they have to do a better job of getting open, but a lot of times they are open, and he doesn't see them because his head is down. That's the key on offense right there. I think they become a completely different team once he figures some of that out, and obviously the offensive line has to sustain its blocks in the run game.
Now, this is the first year under offense coordinator Frank Verducci. We're almost through an entire season thus far. What do you like about the job he's done, specifically getting the ball to playmakers in space, as well as really beginning to utilize both tight ends?
I like it. I like the fact that he mixes it up. They're pretty balanced in what they do. In the run and pass. I mean, obviously you want to be a more run-oriented team up on this end of the country, but, they balance it out pretty well. They get the ball to the guys in space that can make plays. They probably need to do a better job of making bigger plays when they get it. But I think he's done a nice job with balancing it out. Some of the play calls early on, especially in the red zone, were questionable. And I think he'd be the first one to tell you that, that's something we have to go back and look at, as coaches. I think he'd be the first one to tell you that. I don't think he'd tell you that he's had a perfect year calling plays. But I think he's learning some things about, what he can call and what these players can do at the time he calls it. But I think overall, he's done a good job. It's just that when the opportunity is there, to make some of these big plays when these guys are in space, they got to make them bigger than what they've been to this point.
And then a final question for Desmond Conner. You mentioned next week's matchup with Houston. It is the final home game of the season, and it is really a big opportunity for the program to showcase to the fans just how far they have come under Bob Diaco. I think we may see a sellout for the first time under Bob Diaco at the Rent.
I don't know if we'll see that sellout, but I would say that UConn needs to do everything it can to push to get one. It's been a while since they've been to a bowl game. You got a ranked team. You got the highest ranked team in the conference coming in here. They don't have any losses. Your defense been stout here these past couple of weeks. You have an opportunity. I don't know if they're going to start or not, but UConn should certainly do everything it can to make sure that it does. And as far as the moment, I would be really surprised if from here on out, at least before the Houston game, I'd really be surprised if there was any talk or chatter about, the postseason or anything. I'm sure Diaco is going to lock them down, from that and just kind of focus on Houston because it's a big task.